Good afternoon. Thank you for coming out this afternoon, and we're going to begin our program with a video presentation.
In 1863, University President Joseph Dennison proclaimed full educational privilege to all, regardless of gender, race, or creed. We move forward.
When George Washington Owens and Minnie Howell received their diplomas as the first African Americans to graduate from Kansas State University, we moved forward.
We chose to unite when racial tension and unrest were prevalent on many campuses nationwide. When we pledged to focus on shared values and foster an inclusive and welcoming atmosphere, we moved forward.
We must embrace our ages, faiths, beliefs, races, disabilities.
We must embody our cultures, ideologies, personalities, differences.
Differences are essential. You don't need to change your beliefs to be a valued member of the K-State family.
Be yourself.
Share ideas.
Listen to others.
And move K-State forward.
When faced with challenges and hardships, forward.
When our beliefs are challenged, forward.
When we are triumphant, forward.
It's the direction we've always gone.
And the direction we must continue to go.
Forward.
Pretty good video, I think. Good afternoon, everybody. Standing room only. That's important. There are a few chairs up here in the front of the church if anybody wants to come up. Well, thank you for taking the time to attend this important State of Diversity update for Kansas State University. As you can tell from the video, diversity and inclusion are values that began with the early history of Kansas State through its creation as a land-grant university in 1863. Our mission today, as it was for those leaders of ours before, is to provide higher education that is accessible and practical to all, and graduate students who can immediately participate in the diverse and inclusive world they will enter. Throughout its history, the university has taken a stand for unity that embraces differences in thought, ideas, and backgrounds, and leverages the variety of those differences to make all of us, students, faculty, staff, alumni, better, stronger, and more prepared as global citizens. As history has shown, there will always be challenges related to diversity, equity, and inclusion at this university, in this country, and throughout the world. I am proud to say that Kansas State has never and will never waver from its commitment to embrace diversity and promote inclusion. In 2017, as K-State experienced diversity-related tensions that were appearing on campuses all across our country, we asked for feedback from students, faculty, and staff on what we could do better here at K-State. We learned there was a clear support for K-State to be more proactive in addressing concerns of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We learned there was more opportunity for all of us to promote a university culture where individuals from all racial, ethnic identities, ages, nationalities, social and economic stratus, sexual orientation, gender identity, expression, religious, political, and ideological perspectives, and physical and mental abilities can thrive, can engage, and be respected. With that feedback, our leadership team decided to make two very major organizational structural changes that would clarify roles, responsibilities, and how units would work together for a greater collective impact on diversity and inclusion here at K-State. As a reminder, we created the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer position, reporting to the President and serving on the President's cabinet. This position, which Brian Samuel assumed nearly a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, serves as a senior leader and advisor to the university leadership and is accountable for working across our whole academy with an emphasis in human capital services for faculty and staff recruitment, retention, and institutional equity, and while also working with the provost and academic organization on faculty development and curriculum. It's a very big portfolio. In the second area of organizational change, we realigned responsibilities for an associate vice president for student life over diversity and multicultural student affairs. This position, which Adrian Rodriguez assumed in November of 2017, provides a senior level diversity leader within student life. This position is responsible for advancing multicultural student affairs while also serving as a senior diversity and inclusion advisor to the cabinet level position of vice president for student life. Student programs and services that were in the former Office of Diversity transitioned to this new Office of Multicultural Student Affairs in student life. Today, through a State of Diversity update, we pause to take account of our diversity initiatives. Some have been very major. Recognize our accomplishments, many we're very, very proud of, and identify areas for continuous improvement, which we all know we have. So with that, to give us this update, let me introduce, he was actually on stage a minute ago to introduce the video, but let me introduce Dr. Brian Samuel, K-State's Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. Brian? Oh, I'm sorry. First, Brian will lead us in that update, but I think Jordan's going to introduce Brian, right? So let me introduce Jordan Keel, our Student Government Association president, and we have about a little bit longer to work together. It's been my pleasure to work with Jordan, and she's been a good teammate as we've moved this forward. Jordan, I'm sorry to get you out of order. Jordan Keel.
All right, so I promise I won't keep you guys long from hearing from Dr. Samuel, but he asked me to share a little bit about what we've been doing within Student Governing Association to advance some diversity and inclusion initiatives of our own. So kind of went at this with two different perspectives, what we've been working on internally to change our own structure to be more inclusive as a representative body of the entire student, but realizing that our own membership isn't always representative of that student body and what we can do to improve that. And then also externally, what we can do to create some new programming and things where SGA is really taking ownership of things that we can change here on campus. So the first thing I want to discuss is our SGA intern program. A couple of years ago, that was really formally just an application process. Students would come in, they'd interview, apply, and it really limited the number of students that we could get within the program. We've completely revamped that program, changed it to where now any student is allowed to attend our intern program meetings. And we have 3 different cycles of 5 sessions so that all of that information about what SGA does and is, any student can choose to come and learn about that. And then after those 5 sessions are up, they can choose to continue within the program, be assigned a mentor within SGA, and learn more about what it might be like to hold a leadership position and continue their work within our organization. Our hope with that is that we're expanding our programs to be more about the students who want to just come and get some general knowledge of SGA and then use that to affect their own groups on campus and not necessarily be at SGA meetings every Thursday night, but really be impacting campus in their day-to-day activities. From that, we've changed from having 20 student interns to had 114 students this semester or this year that came and participated in our meetings. Out of those 114, 44 ended up filing for Senate, and over half of those students were elected in our most recent election. So we can already see the impacts of just 1 year of these changes are having within our program, and we hope to continue to diversify Senate by having this continue year after year. The second thing I want to talk about, switching more to that external viewpoint, is college-centered and specific student-led diversity summits. So with KS Unite and Wildcat Dialogues, we found, taking that university perspective is really great, but we also wanted to do something where we could localize those conversations to where students are sitting every day in the classroom, sitting next to students that maybe they're not having a conversation of what that student is going through, what it means for them to walk into that classroom, and maybe not see someone that looks like them every day. So having these student-led specific college-wide diversity summits where they can have those conversations and understand that students within their own classes are going through struggles, and having those conversations to hopefully better their college and better their students within that. And then the second part of it is understanding what it might be like in the workforce to be a culturally competent leader once they graduate from K-State. It's not just about what we're doing here as students, but once we graduate and get those degrees and hopefully get those jobs, what we're going to be doing later on to continue that mission and purpose. The final thing I want to talk about is a new joint intercultural leadership council that's been created between Student Governing Association and the Department of Student Multicultural Student Affairs, and that really has come down to we had different groups doing different work all across within the department and within Student Governing Association. We wanted to find a way to bring all of that together. Instead of doing all of this work separately, how can we really focus on the new changes that President Myers had spoke about with the new positions and the changes within the department itself to capitalize on that and really focus on collaboration between the department and Student Governing Association and hopefully create greater impacts for years to come. So that council, I'll be a co-chair, and then actually following the diversity address, we're electing our new co-chair to go along with me. So that's exciting changes there. And really what that group will be charged with is not only advising the department, but also focusing on different programming and activities that we can bring to campus as a whole. So with that, I'll go ahead and introduce Dr. Brian Samuel, Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer.
Thank you, Jordan. As I prepare to deliver this address and talk about the many accomplishments, I'm not quite certain what I'm more nervous about, my boss sitting to my right or my boss sitting to my left. Thank you all for being here. It's been a wonderful first year for me as Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, as the President mentioned. And during this time, I've embarked upon a listening tour of sorts, if you will, with many constituents across the campus to kind of better understand our status of diversity affairs. This also included working with our President's Commission on Multicultural Affairs in exploring best practices, understanding stages of multicultural organizational development, and our positioning relevant to our KBOR and aspirational peers as it relates to diversity and inclusion. At this time, I'd like to thank all the deans, the administrators, the faculty and staff, and the PCMA and the students who worked on collecting and gathering all this information so I could share it with you here today. At Kansas State University, it starts at the top. The President's Cabinet has fully endorsed diversity and inclusion objectives in our institutional-wide strategic plan. This commitment is evidenced in a number of ways, including but not limited to the fact that the President's Cabinet, the Dean's Council, and the Provost staff all completed the Intercultural Development Initiative, or IDI, which focused on understanding culture, the self, and recognizing the various dimensions of diversity and inclusion. As stated by President Myers, as Chief Diversity Officer, I serve as the Senior Advisor to the University leadership on institutional-wide diversity initiatives with an emphasis on faculty and staff recruitment and development, while the Associate Vice President for Student Life leads the advancement of the student programs and services for multicultural student affairs. With these structural changes, we recognize that the diversity portion of the K-State 2025 initiative will need to be updated, and this is something we plan to work on in the near future. In updating the diversity elements of the K-State 2025, it is our intent to define diversity and inclusion broadly and to ensure that all members of the Kansas State community see themselves credibly engaged throughout all the thematic goals of the plan. In addition to our CDIO, which I serve as, and the Associate Vice President for Student Life, our diversity and inclusion resources now comprises 2 new directors in student life, diversity point people in all the colleges, as well as diversity committees in the colleges, and an Associate Vice President for Student Life, development, at the Kansas State Foundation that works closely with fundraising and donor development efforts for diversity and inclusion. Our opportunities in this area include, but are not limited to, working with the administration in development of institutional goals, metrics, and accountability mechanism for determining our progress. In academic affairs, experiential learning initiatives such as the Developing Scholars Program provide students the opportunity to conduct research with faculty mentors. Other experiential learning initiatives are found in the Office of the International Programs, which support both incoming international faculty and researchers, as well as students, faculty, and researchers going abroad. The Office of International Programs is currently engaged in over 50 exchange programs with foreign institutions around the globe, and our student body is now comprised of 9.1% international students. This representation also helps us in preparing globally and culturally competent graduates. The cultural competence of all graduates and students is considered an institutional imperative for the university. And the university has responded to an expectation of developing cultural competence in multiple ways. Within the institution, all students must complete 2 courses, one designated to introduce issues of human diversity within the U.S., and the other to introduce global issues and perspectives. Our institutional assessment data shows that 68% of all the programs at Kansas State University have defined and assessed diversity learning outcomes for the context of their discipline, with 68% of students being assessed at a proficient level or above. Additionally, 94% of the seniors surveyed reported that through their experience at Kansas State University, they have made progress in their ability to interact positively with people from diverse backgrounds. And finally, 92% of the alumni surveyed reported that their jobs required working with people from diverse groups. We will continue to provide our students with the tools they need to engage in a global workforce. Our opportunities in this area include, but are not limited to, all our academic programs and units, developing focused expectations of how students meet and exceed the institutional diversity learning goals, and clearly defining what is meant by competency in diversity skills and dispositions as expected of a student receiving a degree from Kansas State University. In the Division of Student Life, there's been a lot of activities in strengthening our diversity and inclusion efforts across the university. New initiatives such as the Wildcat Dialogues provide students an introduction into intercultural learning, and the K-State 360 and Diversity Badge continues to encourage students to participate in diversity-related experiences beyond the boundaries of the classroom. These new initiatives, programs, and projects will help us retain and graduate students. A review of our retention and graduation data shows that students from underrepresented groups earned 12.5% of all the degrees conferred in fiscal year 2018. Additionally, the 685 total degrees earned by students from underrepresented groups in fiscal year 2018 was the highest number in K-State history. But more than that, K-State's overall first to second year retention rate was 85.5% and showed an increase of 3.8% between the 2012 and 2018 years. And finally, the K-State overall graduation rate for 6-year increments was 64%, which was also an increase of 4% from the 2007 and 2011 cohorts. Opportunities in this area include, but are not limited to, continuing to increase the retention and graduation rates of all students and developing and utilizing mechanisms that enhance the collaboration between units and departments. Examples here might include programming or data collection that acknowledges the experiences of individuals with intersecting identities. From a marketing standpoint, the messaging of how K-State values and approaches diversity and inclusion is very important to our continued success. The Division of Communications and Marketing has provided publicity and support for diversity events such as MLK Week and more recently, KS Unite, which began in 2017. They are spreading the good news of our diversity and inclusion successes beyond our university with the KS Unite website, which comes out weekly, and is a feature of the K-State Today, which is also sent to high school counselors and community organizers. In addition, communication and marketing has incorporated diversity and inclusion images and language into admissions and recruitment materials to show that all are welcome at our university. From a communication standpoint, making sure that we maintain open lines of communication across our campuses on diversity-related topics is essential to our success. Then, as we continue to make progress towards our diversity goals, communicating our accomplishments will enable K-State to earn the reputation of a national thought leader on diversity and inclusion. To date, K-State has been recognized for our commitment to diversity and inclusion at all levels. Some examples of this include, but are not limited to, the Higher Education Excellence and Diversity Award, which we received the last 5 years in a row, as well as recently we received the Inspiring Programs in STEM for our Kansas Association of Women in CALS, excuse me, I forgot the acronym. Additionally, College Choice has identified Kansas State University as a top 50 university for our campus for LGBT students. Opportunities in this area include identifying strategies to leverage all awards and recognitions for diversity and inclusion in the recruitment and retention of students, faculty, and staff. Campus safety is also an institutional priority. To this end, the Administration and Finance Division, in collaboration with the Division of Communication and Marketing, led the creation and deployment of a new website known as Report It to communicate to campus our process for reporting exclusionary, discriminatory, hostile, offensive, or intimidating conduct. In human capital services, currently the Vice President of Human Capital Services and the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer are partnering to look at the 2015 Campus Climate Survey to determine what actions resulted from the survey and what a new climate survey might look like for Kansas State University. In direct response to the Campus Learning and Development Needs Assessment, Human Capital Services is also developing a supervisory foundation training for all supervisors on the campus. A portion of that program will be devoted to diversity and inclusion. Human Capital Services is also currently working with many university partners to implement a competency framework in all our staff positions. Competencies are defined as observable skills and behaviors required for success. The competency framework will provide transparency to employees and applicants about job qualifications and what a successful candidate should possess for hiring, promotion, and upwardly mobile opportunities. One of these competencies in the framework is valuing differences. The valuing differences competency is particularly defined as recognizing the value that different perspectives and cultures bring to an organization. By valuing differences, we can open doors to new ways of thinking and new opportunities for building the success of K-State. A review of Human Capital Services applicant data indicates that our applicant pools have been increasingly diverse. For example, in 2018, 28% of all applications submitted were submitted by members of underrepresented populations. Additionally, women accounted for 52.6% of all the applications received, while veterans and persons with disabilities, represented 4.7% each. Assessment and planning data show that an increase in the percent of diverse faculty from 18.6 in 2010 to 23.7 in 2018. And staff showed similar patterns of increase from 16.2 in 2010 to 18.1 in 2018. Our opportunities in this area include continue to show improvement in the recruitment and retention of diverse workforce by enhancing what prospective employees know about K-State and engaging in national conferences and recruitment opportunities. In information technology, a partnership between the Chief Information Officer and the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer is ongoing to explore ways to make our campus more holistically accessible and inclusive for all faculty, staff, students, and guests of K-State. The university currently provides training for employees who maintain websites to help make these websites more accessible for all. With help from information and technology services, we can ensure that K-State's technology is accessible to everyone, which will be a modern-day realization of our land-grant mission. These efforts will lead to the identification and the utilization of best practices to support students, faculty, staff, and guests of K-State. The Office of the Vice President for Research continues to provide projects and initiatives that raise awareness of programs that emphasize access and human resource development and inclusion. In addition to providing direct personnel and in-kind support for Kansas State Office of the Advancement of Women in Science and Engineering, or CALS, I couldn't even remember that in the beginning, and the Kansas Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation, or LSAM program, the research office also conducts broader impact training sessions. These training sessions assist National Science Foundation grant writers with creating their broader impact statements that is required component for their proposals. Our research on diversity and inclusion is a strength, an area of strength for Kansas State University. Specifically, between the years fiscal year 2014 and 2019, we have received $5.5 million in awarded proposals. Examples of our research in diversity and inclusion include, but are not limited to, the GO Opportunities for Leadership and Diversity, or GOAL project. We will continue to work on opportunities for scholarship on diversity and inclusion by comprehensively collecting information on diversity and inclusion research across our campus and exploring strategies to incentivize and recognize diversity and inclusion research. Through our K-State partners at the Kansas State University Foundation and led by our Associate Vice President for Diversity and Multicultural Student Affairs, K-State has identified a site and is working to complete the necessary funding to build a multicultural center adjacent to the Kansas State Student Union. Additionally, the K-State Foundation has continued its impeccable work to garner philanthropic support of private donors and corporations to provide more K-State students with scholarships. And our generous alumni and friends are helping us devote more space and dollars to welcome all students to the K-State family. Our accomplishments here are just wonderful and broad, including but not limiting to work has continued to expand on the number of private corporations and partnerships for K-State and engaging new corporate partners in creating a pipeline for their diverse talent needs. And since 2011, the K-State Foundation has acquired some $21 million for diversity and inclusion initiatives and projects. These funds are distributed in a number of areas, including but not limited to student success, faculty development, facility development, excellence, and programmatic support. Our opportunities in this area include, but are not limited to, continue to demonstrate K-State's credibility and commitment to providing a diverse workforce and meeting other corporate and community needs, as well as exploring development of a common database on relationships, expertise, engagement, and collaborative efforts that advance our strategic diversity and inclusion goals. The K-State Alumni Association has been a champion for diversity. The Alumni Association has led an award-winning multicultural alumni council for diverse alumni to connect and mentor diverse students and started numerous international alumni clubs around the world. In fact, 33 multicultural alumni events and 42 international alumni events have been held since 2016. Additionally, the Alumni Association has helped to sponsor and celebrate the Lavender graduation, provided scholarships for international students, and recognized student leaders for enhancing diversity and inclusion on campus. Other accomplishments include K-State Alumni Association has taken on the financial responsibility of the Associate Director of Diversity Affairs. This important work will keep on going by identifying best models and practices for engaging various identity-based reunions. K-State Athletics developed and launched the first ever comprehensive diversity and inclusive excellence plans for athletics. Additionally, in collaboration with K-State student athletes, athletics also hosted a diversity town hall and designated the men's basketball game against Oklahoma as a diversity and inclusion game. Also honoring our commitment to experiential learning and community service, student athletes and staff participated in the Cats Across Continents program, which encourages service learning and shows the world the Wildcat way. The K-State Polytechnic campus undertook several initiatives as a result of numerous town halls and discussions to increase awareness of diversity and inclusion concerns. Among these, K-State Polytechnic hired an admissions representative that will lead the Polytechnic campus in developing strategic plans for marketing, attracting, admitting, and enrollment of multicultural students. Additionally, to ensure that students from underrepresented backgrounds see themselves credibly on the Polytechnic campus, attention has been placed on the diversity of images on all social, digital, media, print ads, and postcards for the campus, including but not limited to spotlights on first-generation and diverse students. The Polytechnic campus also continues its long-standing partnership with Tuskegee University, wherein they provide professional pilot technology training to Tuskegee University engineering students. The K-State Olathe campus is extending K-State's outreach to the greater Kansas City region. They recently hired a director of community and education engagement to provide a stronger focus on the creation of pathways for first-generation students to reach college. The Olathe team also helped coordinate K-State ACT prep workshops, a summer STEM camp, and a First Friday series. These initiatives are directly tied to the access imperative for growing first-generation, low-income, and minority population to help them get an education, return home, and continue to contribute to their community and their state as global citizens. In the fall of 2017, the K-State Global Campus began an introduction into the Intercultural Development Inventory, or IDI, and an interaction with cultural advocates at all their staff retreats. Awareness of cultural difference and efforts toward intercultural development has been infused into everyday conversations at K-State Global Campus. This year, for example, K-State Global Campus began a monthly in-person intercultural interaction opportunity during the workday. A few of these activities included talks and a question and answer session with a Sikh couple, a sign language interpreter, and the director of the Wonder Workshop, who shared some information on Manhattan's role in the Underground Railroad. In the College of Agriculture, the Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences, or MANNERS program, engages in college and university recruitment events, including new student orientation, campus visits, regional and national conferences, university and statewide multicultural conferences, and the Multicultural Pride Day. These prioritized student engagement endeavors have increased the enrollment of multicultural students by 11% since 2013. Through initiatives such as the K-State Research and Extension Summer Research Fellowship Program, multicultural students represented nearly 10% of K-State's College of Agriculture students graduates between 2012 and 2018. Additionally, at the graduate level, the College of Agriculture's Diversity Program Office has produced a 100% graduation rate for domestic multicultural graduate students that participates in the office's programs and services. In the College of Architecture, the National Organization of Minority Architecture Students, or NOMAS, in the College of Architecture provides real-world experiences for architectural majors. During the 2018 academic year, NOMAS participated in a competition to build a school and community center in Houston, Texas. NOMAS also began a research project on non-traditional architects from around the world to broaden their influence and to educate students about design professions. The College of Architecture has a high percentage of students participating in the study abroad program at 47%. In the College of Arts and Sciences, in the fall of 2017, the College of Arts and Sciences deployed the Multicultural Overlay. 3 additional courses were added to the Multicultural Overlay in 2018 to bring the total courses offering to 53. The College of Arts and Sciences has continued to recruit diverse faculty and increased the number of multicultural faculty by 22% for a total of 113. In fiscal year 2018, multicultural and international students represented 27% of the College's Arts and Sciences student population, and first-generation students accounted for 30%. Also in 2018, 22% of the degrees conferred in the College of Arts and Sciences were to multicultural and international students, while 32% were to first-generation students. In the College of Business, among the many learning outcomes in the College of Business and Administration, students must demonstrate effective interpersonal skills and the ability to work effectively in teams of diverse composition. By implementing curricula to enhance student, faculty, and staff culture competencies and fostering a climate of inclusion, there has been a significant increase in the number of multicultural students attending K-State and pursuing business degrees. Specifically, since 2007, there has been an 83.4% increase in the number of multicultural students majoring in business programs. Additionally, retention efforts such as tutoring for math, economics, accounting, and finance has produced an 80% first to second year retention rate and a graduation rate of 50% for underrepresented students. The retention rate and graduation rate for multicultural students in K-State's College of Business and Administration are better than the national average. And specifically from 2016 to 17 academic year, 15% of all the graduates in the College of Business were multicultural students. The College of Education has a long-standing commitment to success of each student. During the 2017-18 academic year, 13% of the college's 1,200 plus students were of multicultural backgrounds and from 18 different countries. First-generation college students in the College of Education made up 27% of their enrollment in 2018, and 10% of the college's student body was military affiliated. The College of Education Center for Intercultural and Multilingual Advocacy, or CIMA, deployed a new initiative, the Kibrat, to host 40 teachers from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This program helps spread the knowledge, skills, and attitudes of Saudi education professions through university-guided immersion in the U.S. K-12 schools. The center is also home to the College Assistance Migrant Program, or CAMP, and Project CANCO. These programs help Kansas and Colorado students with migrant and seasonal farm work backgrounds complete their first year of college and continue on to graduation. Other initiatives in the college include Call Me Mr. and Project Excel. The Multicultural Engineering Program in the Carr or ICE College of Engineering works to increase the pool of interested and qualified students from historically underrepresented groups pursuing engineering degrees. As a result, there has been a 52% increase in multicultural students in the College of Engineering from 2011 to 2017. Additionally, 48% of the program's students had a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or better at the end of the spring 2018 semester. There was also a 214% increase in multicultural engineering graduates from 21 to 66 between the period of 2013 to 2017. These successes are largely due to the various initiatives, including mentoring programs, the Guaranteed 4.0, Women in STEM, the National Society of Black Engineers, and other affinity engineering groups, as well as the Kansas Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation Program and scholarships that are offered in the College of Engineering. The College of Human Ecology is focused on recruitment efforts through advancement via individual determination, or the AVID programs, college presentations in Southwest Kansas and Southeast Kansas communities, and partnerships with county extension agents. Also invite students to come to college events and College for a Day activities. The college also continues to cultivate strong relationships with the Southwest Kansas community colleges as part of the Bridges to the Future grant program, and faculty continue to mentor as part of the Developing Scholars program in the Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation Research Immersion. These efforts have increased enrollment of underrepresented students in the College of Human Ecology by 6% from 2017 to 2018. In the College of Veterinary Medicine, scholarships are provided to need-based applicants to attend the VetMeds Rocks Camp. The College of Veterinary Medicine also created and implemented a diversity wall, which consists of 5 posters displayed throughout the complex where students, faculty, and staff may leave messages about the meaning of diversity and inclusion. In addition, college faculty and staff participated in implicit bias, and prohibiting discrimination trainings to equalize the application and interview and scoring process for all applicants. The Admissions Council in the College of Veterinary Medicine also worked to reduce reliance on standardized test scores during the applicant evaluation, in addition to encouraging a diverse application pool at a variety of national conferences. The State School of Leadership continues to create intercultural learning and inclusive leadership development opportunities for our students. Last year, the State School coordinated work of 8 departments and organizations to design and facilitate the first Wildcat Dialogues, one of the university's first-year intercultural immersion experiences. More than 1,000 students and guests and 100 student and faculty facilitators participated in this initiative. The State School also continued the What Matters to Me and Why lectures, which collectively brought nearly 1,000 faculty, staff, and students to lectures in furtherance of our spirit of community. The K-State Graduate School is enhancing opportunities for underrepresented students. Each summer, approximately 80 undergraduate students are able to participate in several networking opportunities through multiple summer research programs, which help them in their graduate education decisions. The graduate school prioritizes an event with underrepresented students, including the McNair Heartland Research Conference and the Graduate School Fair in Kansas City and the California Forum on Diversity in Graduate Education. Once here, students are supported through a variety of activities and programs, including the yearly Summer Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program and the Timothy R. Donahue Graduate Scholarship Program. In addition, the graduate school has championed a holistic admissions guide that encourages faculty to use practices that address implicit bias in the classroom. The K-State libraries continue to play a unique and significant role in K-State's continued progress toward diversity and inclusion. Hale Library continues to be the heart of the Manhattan campus and the hub for the practice of diversity and inclusion among our students. In collaboration with the K-State Alumni Association, Hale Library organized the I Was There, the Reflections on MLK's 1968 historic visit to Kansas State University. Additionally, the libraries have an active diversity committee with an ongoing mission to increase awareness and sensitivity among faculty and staff and to recommend practices that embed diversity and inclusion into all relevant staff programs and library services and activities. Although no one graduates from a library, it is equally true that no one graduates without one. This is why it is important that our libraries continue to work with our colleagues from across the campus to emerge as a leading contributor in our efforts to positively impact faculty, staff, and student retention. This morning, you may have noticed that the K-State Today included a Minutes with Myers video in which Jim Bob Morris described his experience at Kansas State University in the 1980s and how that led him to be a supporter of diversity and inclusion and a major donor for the Multicultural Center. At this time, I'd like to ask our Associate Vice President for Diversity and Multicultural Student Affairs to the podium to provide us an update on our Multicultural Center.
Greetings. Kansas State University, those in attendance today, and our entire Wildcat family tuning in for this State of Diversity address. It is my honor to be able to provide you with an update on what is sure to be one of K-State's most finest achievements in the area of diversity, inclusion, and multicultural student success. That is Kansas State University's Multicultural Student Center. It has been a long-standing vision, rich in history, and led and championed by many visionaries at this university. Today, we stand poised to make this vision a reality. In the past 2 years, fundraising for the center has moved from $1 million to over $4 million. And in the past 9 months, the Multicultural Center Project Action Team, informed by past work, including that of the Multicultural Center Planning Group, chaired by Dr. Kamathi Choma, Dr. Mary Toller, and student leader Brian Davis, has placed us just months away from construction. The MC Project Action Team, commissioned to actualize the report of the Planning Committee, is composed of over 32 individuals, 12 students, faculty, staff, administration, a KSU Alumni Center representative, KSU Foundation representatives, and a community member. The Project Action Team has met over 15 times since June to move us from discussion through master planning and now the completion of schematic design. This fall, the MC Project Action Team secured a series of approvals to move the center forward. First, the Kansas State University's President's Cabinet, then the KSU Foundation Board, and finally, in December, the Kansas Board of Regents. A special thank you to our many students who traveled in November and December to answer questions of our regents and who shared the significance of what the Multicultural Center meant to them and to the future of Kansas State University. We thank you greatly. In great partnership with the KSU Foundation, the KSU Alumni Association, the leadership of President Richard Myers and Dr. Pat Bosco, and the involvement of many student leaders, we have been able to raise $4.2 million toward the center, with a healthy fundraising pipeline to close the gap for completion. The Multicultural Center Project Action Team is excited to share with campus the schematic design work completed by the team, Hollis Miller Architects, McCown Gordon Construction, and informed by all the previous work and information collected over the past several years. The design development of the building and construction documents are scheduled to be completed this spring, with construction scheduled to begin this summer 2019, given all fundraising is complete. With a 14-month, yes, let's pause. With a 14-month construction timeline, weather and fundraising permitting, we are scheduled for a fall 2020 opening. Let's applaud that one. Now let's take a look at the design concept of what will be Kansas State University's new 21st century student-centered multicultural center. In the first rendering at the top left of the slide, that is a perspective looking southwest from Anderson Hall. You can see a very modern facade with a cantilevered main entrance. You can see the streetscaping that will occur as the center will run alongside Mid-Campus Drive. The use of glass will provide great views into the space, allowing the vibrancy of the center to spill out into view. The second perspective, just below, provides a view looking northeast, as if traveling from Anderson Drive north on Mid-Campus Drive. Here you can see the infusion of several construction materials. Naturally, our limestone, but perforated metal and glass to once again provide a very distinctive and impactful appearance. The last perspective on the bottom right of the slide provides a view as you are exiting the east entrance and exit of the KSU Student Union. Notice this provides a view of the standalone nature of the building based on the distinct identity, purpose, and cultural significance of the center. What you do not see in this image is that through the unique design of this building, below street level is a ground level that provides connection to the student union. This connection provides the opportunity for shared services and access to support and amenities, such as the courtyard, Forum Hall, the ballrooms, the food court, banking, the Center for Student Involvement, PowerCat Financial, and of course, coffee. Looking at the floor plans in the middle of the slide, the building is designed to provide administrative support at the ground level, as you will see a couple DMSA, Diversity Multicultural Student Affairs staff, located there, as well as the primary practice performance space for student groups with flexibility as a meeting room. Additionally, multicultural student organization storage space, a prayer room, lactation room, and core building support. Level 1 is focused primarily on space for student groups and multicultural student organizations. It provides informal space, huddle rooms, small meeting spaces, and a flexible learning lab, meeting room, and secondary performance practice space. On the east side of the building, both Level 1 and Level 2 provide a display area and gallery wall that can be seen from Mid-Campus Drive. Level 2 is primarily focused on program space, allowing for events and activities, as it includes a gathering area, reception space, the opportunity to queue a line along the gallery and expression wall, leading into the open kitchen concept that is central to the design of this space. This kitchen will likely have both gas and electric stovetop, double ovens, refrigeration, providing for great cultural enrichment opportunity and celebration through cooking and culture. The kitchen leads into flexible spaces that can be separated or combined for a larger space for programming and activity. That is a very quick run-through of the design concept. But as you can see, the Multicultural Center Project Action Team has been hard at work and excited to deliver a center that meets the needs of our students and community, and will lead us and will allow us to lead both the region and the nation in the realm of diversity and inclusion, equity, and social justice. You can find information, including the plans and renderings of the Multicultural Center on the K-State website at kstate.edu/diversity/multicultural-center. Also, we are tabling this week, Monday through Wednesday, from 11:30 through 1:30 in the KSU Student Union, if you want to come by and see the renderings up close and talk to members of the Multicultural Center Project Action Team. We are also seeking input for the official naming of the Multicultural Center. There is a naming stipulation with our lead gift, which calls for the building to be named in honor of the Morris family. Jim Bob Morris is a proud graduate of Kansas State University. And in his years on campus, he helped to lead K-State to its first ever bowl game in 1982. He went on to play several years in the NFL and then became a successful businessman, which he attributes to his time here at Kansas State University. He is of the Cherokee Nation and descendant of the Six Killer family. So we are honored to pay homage to the Morris family and the Cherokee Nation in the naming of the center. Still, we wish to finalize the name of the center and would like to have your feedback. Please go to the site and complete the survey by end of the day Wednesday to have your submission considered. The survey link also went out in a K-State Today announcement just this morning, so you may find it there as well. Lastly, on behalf of Kansas State University, the Division of Student Life, Diversity and Multicultural Student Affairs, and the Multicultural Center Project Action Team, I would like to say thank you for your dedication, your steadfast commitment, and support to this great endeavor. It means a great deal to our community and to the future of Kansas State University. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. In formulating the idea for the State of Diversity Address, I learned a lot of information about all the good things and some continued opportunities for diversity and inclusion for our campus. But one of the recurring things that seemed to be evident in our conversation and in our work was there was a gap of knowledge and understanding about all the things that had taken place and all the successes and accomplishments we have made. And therefore, I thought it was important to bring us together to talk institutionally from that 30,000 feet perspective, if you will, about all the things that we could see have taken place and all the accomplishments we have made and the different things that are remaining in front of us as continued opportunities. It can be said quite concretely that we are moving into the right directions. We are trajecting positively upward. A lot of things are working well for us. However, our work is not done. President Myers has said time and time again from the first time I met him that we do not rest on our laurels. We have a lot of work to do, and we have accomplished a lot of things, but there's still more to come. As we move forward, it will be important for us working with the deans, the campus administration, the President's Commission on Multicultural Affairs, to prioritize all of these opportunities. The first thing I must say to all of you is that there's a lot that can be done, but we cannot do everything. So we will speak institutionally about what goals will be right for our campus and what the priorities will be. One of the ways that we'll do that is by updating the K-State 2025 portion of the Diversity and Inclusion Plan. This will, in all likelihood, include retooling the President's Commission on Multicultural Affairs, defining diversity very broadly. As it was said earlier, we want all our community to see themselves credibly in the diversity goals, in the thematic categories that are identified for the goals. We want to identify those categories in ways that we can incorporate and operationalize the accomplishment of them. Things like student success, climate and intergroup relations, institutional vitality, and things of that nature. And finally, it's important that we create accountability mechanisms for all of our diversity and inclusion efforts. In addition to these, it is important that we move forward and conduct another climate survey for our campus so we can understand how all our members are experiencing being members of our community. And with that, it has been my pleasure to speak with you today, and we welcome an opportunity to entertain any questions that you may have. For those who are participating remotely, Sarah's email address is there, and you can email a question if you like. Thank you.
Nice job.
Dr. Nicholas were going to help us there. Thank you. Any brave souls? Here we go.
Hi. Well, I seem to have the job of being the brave soul. I would like to put close to your ears and your heart the situation of women faculty on campus. We have moved from a university with a good number of senior women in leadership to a university that has almost no women in leadership. And very often, even within the lower administration, our voices and our situation is not seen and our voices are not heard. I urge you to pay attention to this.
Am I all right?
Just as an example, I like President Myers very much, and he seems like a very warm person, but when he gave his address recently, at some point there was a new person working in human capital, and he asked about how his wife was settling into her husband's job. And well, I had the experience coming here and being at the middle school of my daughter, and people ask me, what department does your husband work in? Almost all of my female colleagues had this experience. So these kind of things hurt. We women are not by definition trailing people. Thank you.
I understand. That's an important issue. And as we said earlier, a couple times now, when we say diversity and inclusion, we mean everyone. So how do we make sure that people see themselves credibly and feel engaged and valued in our community. That will be something that we will explore.
Hi.
Hey, Harm.
I just had okay. Hi. I'm interested if you could comment on any kind of proactive plans the administration has taken in terms of maybe revisiting the question of campus carry. I think this is really relevant when we think about who is likely to be targeted in the event of any kind of gunman on campus.
Is that like a firearms issue?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not familiar with. I've only been here a year, so I'm not familiar with that. Would that be is Vice President Bontrager here?
I'll take that on.
Okay.
I'll take it on. I have a mic, I think.
You have a mic.
Is mine- Yeah, so that is not being revisited in this current legislative session in the state of Kansas. We tried it last year and it didn't go anywhere. We've not given up. It's all the Regent University presidents are against it, against concealed carry on campus. The legislature's for it. The Board of Regents, most recently, their opinion was they're for it. So we're fighting an uphill battle. We're not done yet. And I can give you lots of reasons for that, but let me think of the comment I heard from somebody that somebody opined on the radio the other day in support of concealed carry that, well, we give 18-year-olds in the military a weapon. Why not give 18-year-olds in society a weapon in general? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, we do it in the military, but we don't do it until we've trained them exquisitely. And so there are not a lot of facts that have entered that argument, but there's a lot of us against it, and we'll see if we can resurrect that again. The tide seems to be going the other way, I would say, but it doesn't mean we can't stand up and try to change it. So that's the current status.
Thank you, President Myers. Any others? Yes, Dr. Martin.
I'm sorry.
So I would like to know what.
Just wait.
I would like to know or better understand what, in fact, admissions is doing in terms of looking at enhancing our recruiting of multicultural students across the state.
Dr. Bosco, you want to?
Is Pat still back there?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, Pat's best equipped to answer that.
First of all, I appreciate your remarks throughout our presentation. We learned some things that I didn't know about that was happening and very important in the colleges and without student life and within our various units, including the admissions office, alumni, and foundation.
Thank you.
One specific program that we've enhanced over the last 18 months is a cooperative effort with the Kauffman Foundation, initiate a program that encouraged post-secondary participation among 15 high schools in the greater Kansas City area. A program where we've actually employed 15 counselors in high schools and strategically placed high schools within the Kansas City area to help us increase our post-secondary participation throughout that area. That's one specific brand new initiative that's very important to us. You've heard me over and over again talk about the importance of need-based assistance. We need to continue to look at the gap between the cost of education and financial aid here as well as throughout the state. I appreciate the fact that President Myers initiated increasing our overall $1 billion campaign to $1.5 billion and to make it as a major initiative, that extra $500 million to have an increased interest on need-based assistance. That is across the academy. 25% of our students are Pell eligible. That's the highest participation of any school in the state in terms of Pell eligible students. Our students qualify for more financial aid. More students qualify for aid than anybody in the state of Kansas, so that's an important initiative. In terms of our programs, we're concentrating on metropolitan areas as well as, frankly, every single county. We've hired admissions representatives that are of color. We have specific initiatives with our Hispanic community. Just today, talking to Madai Rivera, which, by the way, this fall we did announce the highest Hispanic student enrollment in school history. Madai is working with Hispanic leaders in the Kansas City and Wichita area, as well as southwest Kansas, for us to be able to continue to exploit our relationship with families make sure that we're only good as the message that we tell. The message has to be authentic and real. So we're expanding our sphere of influence in the Hispanic area as well. I'm troubled by the downturn, the decrease in number of students participating in any kind of post-secondary experience in our state. We're at a critical venture in our state's history, whereas in fall of 12, we had just about 80% of our students in Kansas high schools participating in some kind of post-secondary educational experience, VOTEC, 2-year or 4-year schools. One of the highest post-secondary participation percentages in the country in fall of 12. Today, we're below 70%, about 68% of Kansas high school students going on to anything. And that's particularly disproportional when it comes to underrepresented populations. As the nation's first land-grant university, we have to pay attention to that. We can't do it alone, though. We have to have initiatives from our legislature. We have to look for the workforce development in our state and our ability to provide affordable, accessible education for all the students in the state. It can't be just one office or one institution. It has to be a university-wide effort. So those are some of the things that we're doing initially to make sure that we turn the tide and serve the citizens of our state. There are other initiatives that come to mind, and maybe we want to share them as we go along. Brian, you mentioned about the publications and the website designs. Those have been ongoing to make sure we're inclusive. Every single video, every single publication, everything we do, we try to be as exclusive as we possibly can be, and truthful as well. Dr. Martin, does that help? And that's very quick. That doesn't even begin to talk about what the colleges do in terms of supporting not only our recruiting efforts, but our retention efforts for underrepresented populations, both the undergraduate and graduate level. We're talking domestic specifically.
Any others? Right here. I can't see. Oh.
Yeah, we have a wonderful history and legacy of producing Truman Scholars, Goldwater Scholars. Is anything going on to try to make that more inclusive for underrepresented students from K-State?
The Truman Scholarships and things of that nature?
That would be Jim, right? Jim's not. Oh, okay, Mary.
And I'm deferring this because I figure I'm not the best person to respond to that.
Hi, I'm Mary Toller, and right now I oversee the Office of Nationally Competitive Scholarships, and I'm a Truman Scholar, so I will answer that question.
All right.
The Truman Scholar, the Nationally Competitive Scholarships Office is housed in 215 Fairchild Hall. One of the challenges that we have with Nationally Competitive Scholarships is just getting the word out to our students. So we rely on our faculty who are exceptional in recruiting and sending people to Jim Hohenberry's office for that. In terms of anything specific, I made a pitch today to the Edgerly Franklin Scholarship finalists who I had the pleasure of working with today to make sure that they knew, especially the ones in particular the ones who are interested in public service, to talk to them about the Truman opportunity. The earlier we talk to students about the opportunities, the better, because they don't often hear about them until it's too late. So I'm just going to put a plug in for everybody here. Talk to your students and encourage them to visit Jim Hohenberry, Fairchild 215, and learn soon.
Right here, Tim.
So you talked a little bit about that knowledge gap. And I'm wondering, are there any resources on campus to help people learn a little bit more about the laurels that K-State's accomplished with regard to diversity and inclusion?
Well, when I talk about collecting and gathering all the information around research as well as awards and things of that nature, consulting, all the engagement type of things that take place in the colleges and the departments, as well as many of us who are on any number of different boards and agencies across the country, I think it would be very important for us to collect that data and just know what exists, what's out there, where we are, and use that or leverage that information in our recruitment of students, faculty, and staff. Now, I know there are some things that take place, for example, in Dr. Durhout's area, for individuals who go out for grants and sponsored programs and things of that nature, for individuals who are like publishing things in journals and articles and what have you. My feeling is a lot of that information is residing at the department level or maybe the dean level. And I would love to see us bring it to an institutional level of knowledge and understanding about, you know, how we are impacting the nation with this work.
Dr. Samuel. Oh, sorry. Before that, we have one more question for our remote audience. So I'm sorry. It's from Professor Rachel Levitt from Gender, Women, and Sexuality Studies at Kansas State University. She says, I'm wondering, what's our vision for making sure queer and trans students are included institutionally in our collective vision of diversity and inclusion?
Great question. I'm speaking for Brian here. I feel like we are already on a great trajectory in doing that in our principles of community. Our principle of community speaks very specifically about all members of our community being welcomed, being affirmed, and capitalizing on the learning opportunities that differences can create. And so I think we take that as a foundation, as our posture for this institution, and we use that to create a broad knowledge and understanding about our posture around diversity and inclusion, and make sure that everyone can see themselves credibly in our plan moving forward.
Thank you. I'm going to come back to the finding elements about diversity on our websites and such, and I just want to give an example. I put in an announcement for what we call Engineering a Dream, and that's a middle school event that'll be April 13th, so I'm plugging that right now. But I expected that to be on K-State Today on the main page, and it ended up behind another click behind the KS Unite click. And so if people do not click on that, they don't know that there's a STEM opportunity for their middle school students, likely because the title said National Society of Black Engineers hosts. And so I just want to voice that although elements are connected to the vision of KS Unite in terms of finding a space for activities and being able to identify diverse activities, they should also be on the main K-State Today scroll versus behind the click for KS Unite.
We're having conversations with Jeff and DCM around how do we manage that? How do we move that? You heard me mention earlier leveraging all the good things that are happening in our ability to recruit, retain, and graduate students, as well as recruit and retain faculty and staff. So that is something that's on our radar that we're looking to explore.
Hi, Dr. Samuel, it's Amy. So you said something that, you know, got me a little fired up here in my seat. It's about the principles of community. And I really do think that this is a great document that so many of us really do hold dear and we work for. And I do feel it from the administration that from the top down, there is this desire to move us all forward. But I also see a big gap in how does that trickle down actually lift everybody up. And this is something I struggle with even on a daily basis. How do I get myself and everyone around me to really commit to this? And I would just any day love to hear more about how we are going to spread this to each other and make sure that we're bringing everyone along with us on this journey, and not just telling everybody that they're included in this journey, but making sure that they know they're supposed to be and they need to be a part of this journey, because we're going to move forward without them. either way.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Thank you. We got time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions, if there are any.
Hi. I was just wondering, what can the K-State community expect for the future of the KS Unite event held the last 2 years in the fall?
Well, we are working on KS Unite for fall 2019. An announcement around that should be coming out soon. We are looking to make sure that we engage the campus broadly about planning and operationalizing that. We've identified a number of entities from Housing and Residence Life and CSI and other places where we want to bring in individuals to help participate and plan so that our programming sessions and things of that nature can be broad and representative of our entire community. So that work is ongoing as well.
Hi. I was wondering if you could comment on, I believe that part of the diversity in our, not only in our university, but in our city, in our community, comes from having international students and faculty members. And I noticed, I've been here for almost 3 years, and I noticed there has been a change, for example, in the job postings. Now, in the current climate of immigration, I've seen more and more, work permit required for applications for new positions. And this kind of hampers the ability of bringing in international people to be part of our university, which would decrease, the amount of internationals among us. So I was wondering if there was anything being thought about in this regard by Human Capital Services or some related departments?
Well, our Vice President for Human Capital Services and our General Counsel is also here. I can tell you that my understanding, as well as Mr. Jones from Office of Institutional Equity, I can tell you that my understanding is that in order to have a job for a state entity such as Kansas State University, a person has to demonstrate that they have the ability and the permission to work here. And there's some requirements on that time frame about when you can demonstrate that. Would you like to expound on that, Jay? Well, Scott's there too. I don't know if you got anything you want to add.
I mean, our goal in recruitment and hiring is to open the funnel as wide as we can at the beginning, to recruit as many people as we can who may be able to do that work. And in terms of, work permits and visas, I know there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of churn in the media and everywhere else about that. So the reality for us is in order to hold a position here and work, you have to be authorized to work in the United States. Now, we don't ask anybody for that authorization. We ask candidates, are you authorized to work in the U.S., but we don't do anything with that until the point where an offer might be made, then they have to demonstrate that. And so they just have to have that proof when they begin work with us within 3 days, as anybody does.
It used to be 72 hours or something, right?
Well, it's 3 days within your first day of work.
3 days, yeah. Yeah, 3 days within the first day of work. Grant?
I'm coming.
Dr. Chapman, rather, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Grant with the Office of International Programs. In our International Student and Scholars Office, we have a couple of individuals who can assist units here who have an interest in an individual outside the U.S. and can assist them in the various ways of getting proper visas. And in fact, our international visiting scholars, so our international scholars is up over the past 2 or 3 years. I think we're around 450 international scholars here. So we do have a way we'd love to hear if you have an individual, we have a way to talk with you about the proper visa process.
Any others? If not, I'm going to take a little privilege here And congratulations to my dear friend Jason, who I understand successfully defended his dissertation today. Jason and I worked together on a number of initiatives, and so, you know, he's been telling me he's been working and he can't come to meetings because he's doing a thing. He's doing a little thing called dissertation. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, but no, congratulations, friend. It has been my pleasure to speak with you all today. This has been a huge undertaking. You know, a lot of work went into it. Our deans, our administrators, our DPPs, the PCMA and other members brought good information together, and I want to thank you and invite President Myers to say some concluding words.
He only did that because I stood up, but I just, this was not part of the script, but I want to thank Dr. Samuels and Adrian Rodriguez for their participation, for putting this together, all the people that helped Brian work through this presentation. I think it gave us, he's even learned some Air Force terminology when he said the 30,000-foot view. That's very good. But this overview of our diversity and inclusion efforts, where we've been and where we need to go, I appreciate that, all the thought you've given to it and what we're going to accomplish, all of us together. But it is all of us. It is all of us. It's not what I think, it's not what Brian thinks, it's what we all think, and we are the ones responsible for defining our community. Nobody else, we don't want anybody else to do it for us. We want us to do it. The K-State family and hopefully the Manhattan community and our surrounding communities, we want to define who we are, what we stand for. It's us. It's all of us. So we have to live it every day. We have to live those principles of community every day. We got to remind ourselves what we stand for and then behave and act in a way that's consistent with those principles. And if we do that every day, each of us, every day will get a little bit better, and we'll get closer and closer to those what are arguably very aspirational sort of places to be. But we'll get there, all of us together. But I thank you, Brian, Adrian, thank you so much. How's your PhD work going? This is our little personal thing here, because when Adrian came on board, he was working on his PhD from Kansas State, and it's my intention to keep bugging him because it's easy to put that aside and do this very valuable work that he does every day, every hour of every day, and so forth. But I'll keep asking him in public. Not much more I can do. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the folks that asked questions. I took some notes, all good stuff, and we appreciate you. Thank you.